Leadership today, it often requires for people like you and I to carry significant responsibility while we're navigating uncertainty and competing priorities, while we're navigating emotional fatigue and nonstop demands. And over time, sustained pressure can impact not only our performance, but clarity, confidence, and overall well being. That's right. Today, we're talking about resilience and how to be brave in trusting the unknown. I'm excited for this conversation. Come on, let's get started. Welcome to Transformation Station Leadership Podcast, where we explore the mindset shifts, leadership principles, and transformational conversations that help leaders like you and I to grow from the inside out. I'm your host, Adrienne Benson, and today's episode is one that I believe that so many of us as leaders, we're talking about professionals, whether you're leading in your home, in your church, in the workspace, a C-suite leader, the community, purpose-driven leaders, all of us need this conversation that we're going to have today. Why? Because again, we're talking about resilience and bravery, trusting the unknown, and most importantly, being your authentic self. I'm super excited about our guest today. I can't wait for you to meet her. But before you meet her, I want to remind you of a few things. Number one, I want to remind you every Monday and Wednesday, you need to join Transformation Station Leadership Podcast. That's right. Every Monday and Wednesday, you can join us on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. You can join us on Buzzsprout and Apple Podcasts, wherever you go to get your favorite platform for podcasts. You want to be there. Don't miss out on any conversation that we're having. Now, listen, we're in season 4. So, what that means is if you have missed even one episode of season 1, season 2, or season 3, I need you to go back. I need you to go back and catch the replays, and then don't be selfish. Don't keep this to yourself. Make sure that you're sharing it with at least 2 other leaders in your network. I also want to remind you that we have the Mobilizing with Impact community. I often hear that many of us as leaders, we're looking for community. We want to be able to talk and to discuss and share best practices and principles. Well, guess what? All you have to do is go to mobilizingwithimpact.com. That's right. Mobilizingwithimpact.com is a community for you and I to be able to have empowering conversations on leadership, resilience, mindset, emotional wellness, and of course, transformation. What are you missing out on when you're not in that community? I think it's time for you to find out. So join us today. Well, today I am absolutely thrilled that we have Aisha Makara with us. I know that this is a conversation that's going to resonate with you because again, we're talking about resilience and truth telling and how to be our Aisha, welcome to Transformation Station Leadership Podcast. We're thrilled to have you today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really, really grateful actually to be here and to share my experience and my life wisdom with you guys. And I always happy to share my skills and the way I'm thinking and the way I'm leading all my life with um,
Yes.
with people.
I love it. Before we get started, tell us a little bit about you. Who is Aisha? How did you get on this road of talking about and focusing on resilience?
You know, I think it happened many years ago when my mother abandoned me in an orphan house somewhere in Norway, in Siberia, and in Russia, in very, very cold environment.
Mhm.
And I was about 2 years old, and I kind of get to organize myself on my own. And since
Mhm.
then, I have my own way to navigate myself through the life. And of
Mhm.
course, it was not easy journey in the beginning to be on your own in such an early age. And at the same
Mhm.
time, you know, I learned. a lot of amazing skills, how to be resilient, how to adapt myself to the different environments, how to be grateful for the things that we have. How, for example, the times when it's very cold and you're sharing the same clothes or the same shoes with many others, and learning later in your life what is to have my clothes or my room. It's
Yes.
completely different than when you grew up in the environment when you don't have anything yours. It's never yours, so it's nothing belong to you. And it's very interesting because when I was 15, and actually when I was 10 years old, I started to dream to travel around the world.
Mhm.
And I remember I had a geography class, and I was telling to the teacher this, I want to travel around the world, and everyone was, of course, telling me like I'm crazy and with them, whatever. At 15,
Mhm.
I made a plan. I call it like a life plan, where I said to myself that between 20 to 30, I'm traveling around the world. Between 30 to 40, I'm a businesswoman. Between
Mhm.
50, I'm a mentoring. Between 50 to 60, I'm helping. I'm philanthropist. I'm helping for charities and different things around the world for the UNESCO and UN. And that 15, when I was about 15 years old, many things happened in my life. I i i meet death because
Mhm.
uh, friends that time started to die of different accidents. And that's why I was sitting there in one of the my friends funerals, and I was
Mhm.
thinking, what next for me, how I want to live my life. And that's kind of give me this idea or meaning to go and actually do it. I didn't know
Mhm.
anything. I didn't know how it's going to happen. I didn't know when it's going to happen. I
Mhm.
just knew that that's what I want to do. And
Mhm.
of course, to move from very small little town, a village, and to the city, and after I moved to Moscow because I learned if I'm going to the capital, moving to the capital, it will open more doors for me.
Mhm.
And when I moved to the capital, of course, it took me a time and courage to do that step because, it's Moscow. It's a huge city. It's a big place with a lot of desires and danger and many things that a little girl don't know, because when you're living in a small town, uh, when everyone knows everyone, it's not easy to move like to the city, the most grandiose, biggest cities in the world. So for
Mhm.
me, when I did that, I realized that I was just feel scary and I felt at the same time excited. So I learned through the time when I feel scary, this is where I get to go. That's where
Mhm.
they get to explore because it's not be scary. It's about to be curious. I
Yes.
transform it towards curiosity. And
Yes.
when I moved to Moscow, I realized that I get to move to Norway or like be exchange student. Of course, it took me a time to understand it because what happened, I was very active. Was
Mhm.
active in different areas at the university and was hyper. I was doing a lot of amazing things. And when it happened, when I was transferred to Moscow, and after I was doing a lot of other things, different activities in my university life, many students want to move to United States
Mhm.
and they want to live American dream. I didn't want that. I didn't have that dream. I just want to travel around the world. And for
Mhm.
me, it was ideal. Okay, what's where I want to go? And some of my friends said, "What about you can apply for different European universities?" And this is what I did. I applied for the different universities, and I ended up in Norway, and like learn Norwegian later. Stayed in Norway several years, work as an
Mhm.
engineer. I was working as an engineer, living my life, traveling around the world. Slowly started to more and more learn English, and after several years living in Norway, I realized that my life is very stable and very comfortable.
Mhm.
And so by being comfortable and stable and actually living the life that you want to live, traveling around the world, doing amazing things, I also learned that I have this rebellion in me, like the self sabotage within
Mhm.
me, because I didn't used to the comfort. I didn't grow up in a comfort. I always been discomfort. I was growing up in a discomfort. So the comfort made me so discomfortable. So I felt like uncomfortable in comfort. So I
Mhm. Yep.
started to feel after a while bored and
Mm.
feel that my life is so amazing that I'm working as engineer, having amazing partner, traveling all the time. I felt like something is missing. I was not happy. I
Mhm.
didn't feel happiness. And I remember when I moved to Norway and I got my boyfriend, and he said to me, "Where do you want to go?" In that moment, I want to go to New York. And I remember he said to me, "Okay, let's go." So I was in New York. I was
Mm.
about like 1920, and I was being in Times Squares in this amazing rooftop restaurant where I staying in the top of this restaurant, and I calling so loud of so much happiness in that moment of my life, saying like, I'm a winner, because I did everything what I wanted. I went to all the places I wanted to go already, and
Mm.
that was my last place to go was in New York. And
Mhm.
that it, because in that time of my bucket list was like a, I don't know, it was like a 10 cities I want to visit, and that I visited so fast in such a like in a month. And I
Mhm.
was in my mind, in that moment of my life, in my mind was it takes me all life to do that.
Mhm.
So the only things what happened when I started to travel regularly around like many places around the world, I realized that I don't have other dreams except just to travel. So I wanted to create more dreams, and I
Mhm.
kind of get stuck. That's the first time I stuck in this good girl world where I was working all the time. I was performing very well. I was very good student. I was doing a lot of activities, forums, past conferences. I was speaking for the refugees in Norway. I was doing like so many amazing work that
Mhm.
many people probably even don't consider to do. But for me, it was so normal to do
Mm.
my
Mhm.
everyday being like natural leader, being natural like me, and being
Mhm.
supported. So I felt so blessed.
Mhm.
And as a leader, I wanted to have other challenges in my life. So what I did, I went to United States, to Los Angeles, to be an actress, and was almost like very low level of English skills. And I
Mhm.
give myself time, like 3 years, to do that. I did it about 4 months, and I come back because that that level of that moment of my life, that level of crazy that I
Mhm.
haven't ever experienced in my life, it scares me so much. I was that
Mhm.
moment so comfortable and travel and do a lot of amazing things. And at the same time, the idea of living in the street, the idea of getting on drugs, the idea of being a prostitute or whatever was scaring me,
Mhm.
and how the world is, and how much comfort and the 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 worms I have around me, and
Mhm.
how little of you know it's there, where you get to kind of like using your survival skills and learn how to adapt yourself in a completely different environment, and actually learn how to pretend to get what
Mhm.
you want. When in Norway or in Russia, I don't need to be I just get to be me. Yes, I get to fight in Russia, I get to scream sometime and yell or whatever, but I always get what I want by communicating it very loud, or say to someone, leave me alone, or like, go away from my way,
Mhm.
and I just walk. In United States, it was a different experience. And anyway, later in my life, I still moved to United States to be an art, like to be an artist that I am today. And the second time, of course, it took me a while. It's a different story. I moved to Portugal after that. I had my business there, property management company. I was working in real estate. And after some years later, I actually moved to United States. And what
Mhm.
happened is I became an artist. Like COVID hit, and so I couldn't understand what's happening. And I realized that I moved very early. I don't have any friends. I don't have anyone to like kind of like to count on to get support from. That was the first time in my life I learned about how it's important to have the support, because in Europe we have support. It's like the support is built in a governmental level, and it's so easy to access. In America, it's a little bit different. You get to be that support for yourself or build that support through your friends or the people that you're working with or you're creating with.
Mhm.
And for me, it took me a while to understand it and
Mhm.
kind of like adapt to that and realizing how powerful I am as a leader. Actually,
Mhm.
when I have my dreams in 2021, I end up being in Art Basel as I wanted. And
Mhm.
in 2022, I sent my art to the space because I had my dreams. I want to send my art to the space. I want to send myself to the space, and I want to paint the rocket,
Mhm.
and that's kind of like the dreams as an artist I want to live in this lifetime. And this is what I
Mhm.
did. 2022, I sent my artwork to the space with the project, and that's collaborated with the SpaceX, and they selected 50 artworks from around the world, and they selected two of my artworks. It's engraved in golden plates, and it's flying somewhere in space.
Mhm.
And, for many my friends, artist friends, asking me how did it happen, and I said because it's connected to my dream, and when the opportunity arrives, I just take it as opportunity. I'm not attached to the outcome. I just go and take it and see how it works, and I do my best to show up for myself and continue to ask for permission or questions, or how I can be better in service, what I can do, how I can improve myself.
Mhm.
I believe this is the true feeling of being alive, true
Mhm.
feeling of being human, true feeling of being a leader, or being, like really living in your life with authenticity by just
Mhm.
being it, communicating clearly your needs and wants. I don't need to pretend to be anyone. I don't need to prove anything to anyone because I'm here to live my best life now. And I'm here to express myself what I want now. I don't have any other way to do it, because if right now Elon Musk is next to me and I have a question to him, I will just go to him and ask that question. I don't
Mhm.
need to say to him, "Oh, Elon, you're so this and that." I will say directly, like, what do you think about that? What do you think
Mhm.
about that? What do you think? I believe we're all equal. The only difference between us is how we use these 24 hours that we have. We all
Mhm.
have 24 hours, and we're all going to die one day. So it's up
True.
to us to decide what we want to do with these
Mhm.
24 hours. It's up
Mhm.
to us. Do you want to
Absolutely.
enjoy, or do you want to suffer? Do you want to struggle? Do you want to be miserable? It's also choice. So
Mhm.
train your brain to be joyful.
Mhm.
In 2022, I published my book called Joyful Living Guidebook, where I'm just describing different suggestions to the people what it is to live a joyful life. And of course, I add my artworks as well. And I'm just feeling like it would be something like funny and nice to look at the book, but it's kind of more like a kid's book, but it's not a kid's book. It's for the adults to be more creative, to
Mhm.
actually learn that they are powerful creators. We have power to create anything we want. And
Mhm.
God is always with us. Our angels are always with us. They're always supporting us. The most important, don't get to that misery. Don't get to that idea of that you don't deserve. You deserve absolutely anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you want. The universe, the God, it's always here to give you the best now. The most
Mm-hmm.
important, express it clearly and direct and honest. And this
Mm-hmm.
is for me grounding. It's ground you to be who you are, because when you're expressing yourself, your true self, this is where
Mm-hmm.
you're going to learn what it is to actually create the life you want to have or you want to imagine for yourself. Nobody
Mm.
do that for you. You do.
Yourself.
Nothing else can happen. Yes, you create your life. We are the creators of our own reality that we want to have or we want to see. It's up to us always.
Mm-hmm. So let
That's
me
my,
ask you a
how
question.
about me.
Good. Let me ask you this question, right? Because we're talking to leaders here. So, Aisha, many leaders struggle. They struggle with uncertainty, right? Not being able to know exactly what's going to happen or not being able to know exactly how things are going to work out. How can leaders learn to trust the unknown without feeling paralyzed or without feeling that sense of self doubt?
I feel like it's the curiosity. What I do with all these uncertainties when I don't know what I don't know, nobody knows. That's the funny things. Nobody knows what they're doing until it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all about being patient with yourself. Also, learn how to zoom in, zoom out, how to
Mm-hmm.
also stop, observe, let it go, understand what serves you, what doesn't serve you, and why. And also ask three wives, why you doing it? Why? What's the reason? Why you decided to walk this walk? Why you like creating it what you want to create? So it's very important know your why. When you're
Mm-hmm.
very clear with your why, the uncertainty or doubts is gone.
Mm-hmm.
You are very, you're trusting yourself and you're trusting your heart. You're trusting that this is the path you choose to walk. You have everything to walk the path that you choose to walk. Nobody can stop you except you. Nobody
Mm.
can judge you
Important.
except you. So
Right.
just be confident by
Mhm.
communicating clearly what you want. And universe, God is always giving you what you want. Always.
Mm.
And that's
So,
the beauty.
yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but it made me think about this, right? So, what from your experience causes people to disconnect from their true selves, right? What do you think causes many of us to um, not be authentic in how we lead, how we live?
I believe because of the, first of all, it's because of the self-limited beliefs, because we have a programs. We have a
Mm-hmm.
programs from the school, program from the universities, programs that, being integrated in us from the generations. So people kind of limited themselves based on the box that they're putting themselves. Oh, I'm an engineer, or oh, I'm a doctor, or I'm a mother of three, or whatever. Whoever decided to put themselves in any box they want, and and excuses. They say, I
Mm.
wish, but it's no excuses. It doesn't matter. You have kids, you don't have kids. You have a sick mother, or you don't. It's all decision. It's decision. When you make that decision and you do that quantum leap or like that jump, you get to just relax, because you made that decision. You loudly say, this is what I want. For example, whatever you decided, if you say, I want to be a wife of the Elon Musk, or I want to be the most gorgeous woman in the world, or most powerful woman in the world, that I decided this is what I want. And you
Mm-hmm.
just relax. This thing's going to happen naturally, because
Mhm.
it's reality will unfold itself for you when you just trust into the process. What you get to be, you just vibrate in a high vibration, always being happy, always being joyful, and vibrate in a high vibration. Don't be afraid of nothing. What to be scared of? Nothing. You can always communicate things, asking for support when you need that support.
Mhm.
Also, understand when to be vulnerable to accept that support,
Mhm.
and understand also where to get that support, because also sometimes the support is not what you want to that support be, because you get to also be very careful to know who you're trusting when you're asking for that support.
Absolutely.
It's like it's you guiding yourself and navigating yourself. You're trusting yourself as well, but always trust your gut, always trust your heart, because heart deeply knows what best,
Mm,
always, because it's
absolutely.
naturally will, it's kind of like naturally will, your body will naturally like guide you towards that. Not your
Mm-hmm.
eyes, not your brain, it's your heart and your
Mm-hmm.
body. Take you
I love
to the
it. Yeah. So here on Transformation Station, we always give our leaders some best practices. And Aisha and I want to share this one with you. Schedule intentional time to reconnect with activities or work. And I'll even add with yourself, activities or work with yourself to energize yourself and to align with your purpose. We're talking about resilience. We're talking about how can we walk forward and be brave in the midst of real life. Aisha, right now, real life is happening. There's a phrase that I use that says life is lifing. Like life is lifing for a lot of people right now. They're dealing with really serious situations, whether it's on the job or whether it's in their personal life. And yet, as Aisha has been talking with us, she has reminded us to, like, you got to stop, be aware of who you are, be aware of what makes you laugh and what makes you cry. That awareness then gives you an opportunity to stop and vision cast. Like, what do you want for your life? Aisha kind of reminded us a little bit earlier about gratitude, like being thankful and grateful for the present, right? What you have right now, and make sure that you are clear of what your purpose is and have a good vision as to how to move forward. Again, we're talking about resilience and being brave. And so, Aisha, as we turn the corner on this most important conversation, I'm going to ask you to talk to our listeners and our viewers. Aisha, if you could leave our listeners and viewers with a message, one message about resilience and courage and going and staying authentic while navigating uncertainty, what would that message be?
always trust to the process of life. Life
Mm,
has a stages, so enjoy all of them and
mm,
live as a kid. Enjoy
mm,
the moment and fully be present in the
mm,
moment. Only what we have, it's a moment, the present of
yes.
this moment, and
Mm,
always be grateful for each
mm.
day of your life.
I absolutely love that. What a wonderful way to end. Leaders, there you have it. Always be thankful. The present is a present. Aisha, I know that there are listeners and viewers that want to reach out and engage with you. So, what's the best way for us to stay in contact with you?
I have a website. It's just general my website that I have. It's Aisha dot today, is AISHA dot today, where people can connect with me and schedule the call with me, 30 minutes call, where I can actually share with them my wisdom and give some advice. And also I have my program. It's called like Joyful Living Program. That's a 3 months program, 6 months program, and 1 year program. So
Mm,
people just decide what they connected with or resonate with, and let me know. It's in my website, the whole information, and who curious and who has time to read, always welcome.
Absolutely. All right, Transformation Station, there you have it. You see the link here on the screen. It's also all of her social media contacts are going to be in the description box. Please definitely click on it. You see and you heard Aisha says that she takes on clients. And so if you're interested in a session with her, I need you to go ahead. I'm inviting you to go ahead and click on that link and contact her. And as a matter of fact, I want everybody that's listening and watching contact Aisha and let her know that you heard. Let her know that you saw this particular episode. Let her know what resonated with you as she shared her journey with us. And if you have any questions, she is an expert. So tap in and ask her questions as well. Aisha, thank you so much. It has been an absolute joy to have you with us today. And I want to thank you for sewing into us and giving us such rich content. Thank you so much.
Joyful living. Namaste.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
All right, well, listen, Aisha reminded us today that leadership, it's not just about simply enduring the pressure. It's learning how to be resilient, how to remain grounded, intentional, and aligned in the middle of it. And if today's conversation encouraged you, if today's conversation challenged your thinking, or if today's conversation gave you practical insight, I want you to be sure to hit that share button and share this episode with another leader that you know needs to hear this. Remember, transformation happens when leaders like you and I intentionally create space to restore ourselves, to focus our vision, and to lead from a centered place. So until next time, keep growing, keep leading, and keep transforming from the inside out.